Hello and welcome to the day one of our 10-day program of the motivational lectures on chemistry, foundation chemistry, offered by the organization called the Uranium. Many of you have joined today who have never come across with the term the uranium, not uranium, a radioactive element. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of a organization called the Uranium. Many of you were unknown about that, but some of you who are already groomed for multiple times with our winter camps, with our summer camps, online camps. So while we start today, our today's program, I will request those who are from the uranium background to keep a little bit of patience, to bear with me if I become a little more rudimentary, little more explanatory to simple things which you already know. But never mind, I will definitely cater to your needs. But since I have also invited in this class 11 motivational program, we invite non-uranium guys to enter into our fold. The purpose is we will continue to guide you, help you, clear your doubts throughout your 2 years journey with whomever you are taking coaching, doesn't matter, but we will continue to help you as long as you need our help on a continuous basis or on a discontinuous basis. That possibly the uranium guys know, but others who have joined for the first time to our classes will know sooner or the later. So without any further delay, let us start day one's program. Day one, we welcome our elder sister Nikita, because I had also invited her to join this program, because this 10-day program that you will be joining, if at all you want to benefit from this program a lifelong, until you teach your children, I will definitely insist to keep patience and follow me very meticulously. Despite your busy schedule of your school, the coaching might be, some of you have already joined coaching. Despite that, if you follow me and take this program a bit seriously, I'm not saying seriously means to be tensed. You study in a relaxed mind, because chemistry is never a subject to mug up, to cram. Just like many people think, it's not like physics having a lot of logic, which is governed by laws, principles. Chemistry is not like that. They had to be crammed, to memorize unintelligently, and therefore they hate. It's not like that. You will know within 10 days. Of course, the uranium guys, they know. They know. This is not the first time they are with me. They are maybe for the nth time, where n tends to, I don't know. One of you, I don't name, he knows and others know that he has been with me when he was class 7. He was joining with his sister. His father used to request me, sir, he will attend your class. But very interestingly, he also takes part. He was taking part in the discussion when he was 2 years below his sister. I mean, junior to his sister. See, he is now coming in a very official way to join this 10 days program. Let's start. I will be putting my entire 40 plus years of my coaching career, teaching and coaching career, for IIT JEE, for NEET, to give you this essential aspects of rudimentary concepts, the fundamental concepts of chemistry, particularly the physical and inorganic chemistry. I have planned out, and I used to offer this course every year, not this year. And thereafter, you can join with all confidence wherever you study. And you can remember me whenever you feel like, to clear your doubts. And also, if some of you will be interested to be with me on a regular basis, I can also drag them in a very systematic manner till their goals are reached. That also I can do, and I used to do. Okay, let me share my screen at this time without any further delay. You know, this program will be mostly, I will be conversing in English, because you guys coming from Odia medium should converse yourself, familiarize to understand in English and to speak in English. But I'll never shy away in talking in Odia or in Hindi, our national language Hindi and our language of the soil Odia. I will never ever shy away. I'll be as much rustic in Odia language as I am in English international language, where you can access to anybody in the world. Of course, many countries, they do not like English, like Japan, like Germany, like France. They don't bother about English. They don't take English study as a credit. Okay, they are doing, no doubt about it. Now, welcome to this day one program. Pick up a pen, and you have a copy with you. Let me disable annotation, because that nuisance sometimes happens. We are joined by Ashish Tripathy. We are joined by Ayush, Abhijit, Benazir, Debasis, Harshita, Nikita from class 12, Piyush, Rudra, Nihar, Samidha, Sijal, Adisri, Abhijit. Okay. Now, you already know this is your 10 plus. You are in class 11, that ionic compounds, they differ. You must write what I am writing from covalent compounds, in that these have ions and they no ions. And between metals and non-metals, you expect an ionic compound, but between non-metals, it is covalent. For example, you have sodium chloride. It is actually Na plus Cl minus. We used to write NaCl. This galti se mistake we commit, but we know that these two ions are there in the crystal lattice. You know, sodium ions and chloride ions arranged in an alternating manner in a beautiful unit cell structure that you'll be knowing in your class 12 program. This crystal structure, how the sodium ions are arranged vis-a-vis chloride ions. So the ions are there. We write NaCl. That is by mistake. By convention, we write NaCl. Similarly, you have carbon dioxide. All the two are non-metals. So the bond must be by sharing of electrons, and that is covalent bond. And let us forget about the structures of covalent molecules. We are not going to do that now. But only the difference is that this doesn't have any ions. But this compound has ions. If you melt it, you will find freely moving ions conducting electricity. Or if you dissolve in aqueous solution or make an dissolve in water and make an aqueous solution, you'll find Na plus and Cl minus will be segregated, will be separated, and will be swimming like fish here and there. Of course, they will be hydrated. They will be put inside, they'll be cased inside a jacket of water, which we say the ions get hydrated. We'll talk about that later. Now, while writing the formula, we have two types of formula for ionic compound. The formula we write is empirical formula. Empirical formula gives you the simplest whole number ratio between positive and negative ions. Supposing we write calcium oxide. We don't write Ca2O2. This is not the simplest ratio. We cut because all ionic compounds are expressed by empirical formula, not the molecular formula. Only the covalent molecules, they have molecular formula. Exact. They remain independent. As you know, molecules remain independent of each other. They exist independently with a very weak van der Waals forces or some weak intermolecular forces between them, which can be segregated very easily. But in ionic compound, it's not possible to separate them. They remain as ions in a gigantic network structure, So you can't isolate a single NaCl molecule. If you hold one Na plus ion, the other ions will bite you with all the 32 teeth and you will be bleeding, because Na plus is not alone, Cl minus is not alone. It is a part of a gigantic network. So the simplest formula representing the simplest whole number ratio between positive and negative ions, that is called the empirical formula. But covalent compounds have real molecular formula, like C6H12O6. As you know, glucose, you have to write. But since the coefficients are so huge, this can also have an empirical formula. And also, this is molecular formula. But we can have a simplified formula by dividing with 6 throughout. We can get the empirical formula CH2O, empirical formula. So a covalent molecule can have both, not always, can have molecular formula as well as empirical formula. If the molecule is very hefty and, number of molecules are many, and you can cut them to size, trim them, and get an empirical formula. But always empirical formula is written for ionic compounds. For example, I would like to ask you to write potassium ferrocyanide. I will be acquainting you with different very unfamiliar ions. Potassium ferrocyanide. Potassium is 1 plus and ferrocyanide is a very, very bulky ion, negative ion, that is FeCN6. And this is put inside a square bracket deliberately, because you will be later in your class 12 program knowing that this is a different kind of negative ion or ion altogether. That is called a complex ion, which contains a metal as well as some non-metals. That is why this type of ions, they are honored by putting them inside a square bracket. This is called ferrocyanide, and this is 4 minus. So you know how to write the formula. You are 10 plus. Of course, you have not passed. There is no room for failing in class 10. Presumably, all of you will pass. Benazir, are you listening to? Okay. This 4 will come here. 1 is never written. It is understood that if nothing is written, it is 1. So the formula is K4 FeCN6. Surprisingly, I have not removed the square bracket, although the coefficient is 1 and 1 is not written. I told you that such kind of ions are very uncommon in class 11, but very common in class 12. Or if you study in advance for any JEE, NEET, and all that, you will be also be loaded with so many complex ions, even from class 11 stage. So let us not, and I'm sure as you continue with me for the coming 10 days, I can say, because we have hardly started. Picture abhi baki to hai bhaiya. So this square bracket is to be honored, is to be kept, whether there is a coefficient or no coefficient. And since it is an ionic compound and this is an empirical formula, if I ask you to show how many ions of which type are produced from one empirical formula unit, you will say one empirical formula unit of potassium ferrocyanide will produce 4 potassium ions and one very hefty, very bulky ferrocyanide ion. And there will be no dissociation from the ferrocyanide. They are covalently bonded. Make sure that the cyanide ion will be knowing they have covalent bonding with iron Fe2 plus, and such a molecule is very tight, compact, and doesn't undergo any dissociation. But potassium ion, these are ions actually. So they will be segregated into real fish-like ions moving here and there in aqueous solution. And ferrocyanide, a very, what kind of fish we say in Odia, we say Bakudamach, is very bulky. Or say shark or any very, very hefty fish will be moving with little slowly, because if more bulk you add to your body, your mobility will be restricted. I'm talking in the language of electrical conductivity. The electrical conductivity also will be reduced if you are heavy. Of course, there are some other rules to find the electrical conductivity in aqueous solution. This is not the time where I shall explain that. So let me give you another formula. Supposing I'll ask you to write ammonium dichromate. I'll tell you today how you will acquaint yourself with different unfamiliar, which perhaps you do not know, many such ions, how you familiarize, not to memorize, but to familiarize. Nothing to memorize. Just play with them. Who can write down the formula of ammonium dichromate? Raise your hands, write down in your copy, and raise your hands. You know how to raise your hand in the Zoom classes. The yellow hand will be visible to me. I am the instructor. This Rudra guy, yes, let me reveal that he is a hardcore uranium guy. From class 7, he is with me. So like him, Anubhav and others are there, but I will request them to keep little bit of patience and be with me, even if things are repeated, but make sure that I will be also catering to your requirements. So Anubhav and Rudra, they have written. Anyone else, anybody watching? There are many who are watching also directly from the live streaming of YouTube. They can also write down in the chat box. Nikita Didi has written, Devasis Patro has written, Adisri Pradhan has written, and Anubhav Sao. Now, it doesn't matter. I'm asking because I will know how, to what extent you are familiar with this aspect of my program. That is, formula writing is the foremost. And for that, you must acquaint yourself with different types of positive and negative ions. Ammonium is a positive ion, having 1 plus charge. It's a positive ion. Ironically, it doesn't contain any metal. This is what perhaps the solitary positive ion which does not contain, and a very few such uncommon positive ions are there which do not possess a metal. All the two are non-metals. And dichromate is Cr2O7. 2 minus. So when you make a compound, you know the two valencies, they're crisscrossed. The crossover rule that you have been applying from class 8 to write the formula. So the ICIC guys from Puri, they are quite confident in class 8. They are taught how to write formula. Class 8, 9 book, they're invincible. They're invincible. Doesn't matter. NH4 whole 2, and here, since dichromate is not a complex ion, the parenthesis has to be removed because 1 is not written, so Cr2O7. So ammonium dichromate has the empirical formula. When we say formula, it is empirical. We don't say empirical formula every time. Empirical formula is meant for ionic compounds. And Samita, have you written?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, I would like all of you to break down into the number of positive and negative ions. One formula unit will produce how many positive ions and how many negative ions. So then, make sure that each ion remains independently. They don't break down. Even if it is a mono elemental ion or a polyatomic ion or polyelemental ion, we can call it a compound ion. So here the positive ion and negative ion both are made up of 2 elements each. Positive ion is made up of nitrogen and hydrogen, and ironically it doesn't contain any metal. Again, ironically, dichromate ion contains a metal, Cr2O7. So who have written the ions? Those who are unable to write with me, because I have a plan to finish the program by 8, and then few minutes we can chat and I can interact with you with your questions. And those who are for the first time being slow, never give hope. Don't be scared. Never be scared. I'm there to support you. Ammonium ion, there are 2. The subscript will tell you how many. 2. And ammonium ion is a composite ion. Whether in the beginning we say write a square, a parenthesis, and over that put its charge. But with time, you will hardly give this parenthesis, simply NH4 plus. That doesn't mean that hydrogen is located over the head of hydrogen. Positive charge is located on the head of hydrogen. It is located on the head of nitrogen. We will know later. So, but we used to say NH4 plus. We don't put any parenthesis. This is too naive. You can do that. Plus, we also don't put a square bracket and write 2 minus. 2 minus we write as a superscript. That doesn't mean that, the charge is not on, charge is on chromium. The charge is on oxygen. So it doesn't matter. So our usual way to write 2 minus. The entire ion enjoys a charge of 2 minus. So there are 2 ammonium ion. So the net positive charge is 2 1s are 2, and the net negative charge is 2 minus. So the net charge of the formula unit is 0. These are neutral compounds, so the net charge will be 0. That is why we make a crossover. The crossover rule is meant for balancing the charge in formula unit. Have you understood? Raise your hands who have understood so far. So far, we have discussed how to write a formula and how to split them into ions. Yes, I will monitor. Don't worry. Assis, why you are not raising your hand? You are from Puri, right? Yes.
Yes,
Done.
sir.
Okay. One more formula, then we go to another aspect. Say iron 3, because nowadays, this OSIC, ferrospheric, cuprous cupric, stannous-stannic, these variable valency, this OSIC, they have been outdated, they have been obsolete. The stock notation has replaced the OSIC, where you write the English name of that particular element, not the Latin name, not ferrum. Iron 3, we were saying ferric, but now we are saying iron 3, say chromate. Another brother, sister of dichromate is chromate. Iron 3 chromate. Similarly, you can have copper 1, cuprous. Copper 2 is cupric. Orus, gold, not Orus, gold 1 or gold 3. These are what we call the stock notation, where the valency of that metal ion is given in Roman, IV, like that. So who have done the formality, write down the empirical formula of iron 3 chromate, and also split one formula unit into respective positive and negative ions, and raise your hands. This time, Sijal, Nihar, Devasis, Rudra, Benazir, Anubhav, Ayush, Adisri, Abhijit. Now, iron 3 doesn't, iron is Fe, 3 is 3 plus. Chromate is CrO4, CrO4 2 minus. I will show you. I will give you all the materials for this 10-day program. And I also will invite you to join me in a quiz test, online quiz test, maybe after 7 days of the end of the program, just to make sure that you have assimilated things and you will benefit. The other day, maybe last week, I went to a particular place where I found a ex-student of this particular uranium foundation course. He has joined in Fiji some IIT advanced program. He is in class 12. He saw me and with all ecstasy found that I was there. He met me and said, sir, whatever the foundation program you have given, now it is coming to my use. Every time I make benefit of this program. I say, it's great. It's great. So this 2 will come here, not 2 minus, only the numerical value, not the charge. So what will be the formula? Fe2 CrO4 whole 3. And this one molecule that we wrongly say. We say molecule, but for ionic compounds, we should not say molecule. One unit, formula unit. But हाँ, हमको तो करना है, गलती से मिस्टेक, यही उम्र है, कर ले, गलती से मिस्टेक, तो कोई बात नहीं, हम कभी कभी हम ऐसे जो कन्वेंशन है हम बोल देते हैं, लेकिन हम जानते हैं ये नहीं है, मॉलिक्यूल नहीं, इसको मॉलिक्यूल नहीं कहा जाता है, क्योंकि मॉलिक्यूल कोवलेंट सब्सटेंस में होता है, जो इंडिपेंडेंटली एग्जिस्ट करता है, वही है मॉलिक्यूल. Ionic compound में ions are getting, they are making a network. So there is no independent molecule. So one ferric or say iron 3 chromate molecule will have two, and this subscript will give you the number of the ion. And what is its charge? Charge will be found here. Charge will be found diagonally, and the number will be found there immediately below it. So two number of iron 3 ion, that is 3 plus. And how many number of chromate ion? 3. Below it is 3, and chromate is CrO4, and its charge is 2 minus will be found here. So the net charge, positive charge is 2 3 ja plus 6, and net negative charge is 2 minus 2, 3 minus 2 is equal to minus 6. So the total positive charge is equal to total negative charge. That is the reason why we crisscross the valency. You understood? You understood? Raise your hands who have understood. Feel free to Piyush Singh. Piyush, you haven't understood?
Yes, sir.
You encourage me, you motivate me by raising your hands. Not only teacher, instructor will motivate the students. Equally, the students should motivate the instructor, the teacher. Then only there will be a good reciprocation between the teacher and the taught. And there will be synergy in the entire proceedings. Now, I'm showing you, which I'll share the file with you after some time. At the end of the program, you will find this. You will find a host of monovalent ions, bivalent or divalent ions, tin 2, iron 3, and trivalent ions. You'll find tetravalent, pentavalent, variable valency, stock notation, and the negative ions, 1 minus. There are so many. Just read them. Don't mug up. Just read them loudly as you read the newspaper. The best way to develop good speaking English is to read the English newspaper maybe every day, maybe one page or maybe few columns, and try to listen to either BBC or you have Al Jazeera, or if you are very favorite of American English, then CNN. Must listen to the BBC News or the Al Jazeera News for at least 15 minutes, just to acquaint yourself with a bit of accents. Otherwise, you will not be comprehensible by the English native speaker. If you don't change your English accents, to some extent, not to their extent, we can't copy the native English accents. Impossible. However, whatever effort we may make, since we are living here, we are born here, it's not possible to make the accents identical with British English or American English. We can at least try maybe 30%, 40%, by which you can access when you go abroad and reciprocate with them. You can access well to them, and they can understand what you are speaking. Otherwise, they will be saying, excuse me, means repeat, you repeat. Then this is divalent, so many monovalent, starting from, per chromate, per chlorate, per bromate, per iodate, hydride ion, which is -1, cyanide ion, isocyanide, cyanate, thiocyanate. You have to just read them. Nitrate and nitrite, hypochlorite, permanganate, chlorite, bisulfur hydrogen sulfate, chlorate, bromate, iodate, and you continue to just read out and see the formula and make some practice. This is divalent, thiosulfate, manganate. Permanganate and manganate, they have the same formula, but their charges are different. That is 1 minus, this is 2 minus. You have zincate, stannite, stannate, plumbite, plumbate, berylate, peroxide, O2 2 minus, tetrathionate, S4O6 2 minus. Just read them. Peroxide disulfate, S2O8 2 minus. Oxalate, C2O4 2 minus. Dichromate, which we have done. Chromate also we have done. C2 minus is carbide, hydrogen phosphate, molybdate, pyroantimonate, silicate, tungstate, titanate, tetraborate. You have 3 minus nitride, phosphate, and also phosphide D. Orthophosphate, what we say phosphate, it is actually orthophosphate. Metaphosphate is -1, already done. That is PO3 metaphosphate we have already done here. Metaphosphate, PO3 1 minus. But this is phosphate or same as orthophosphate. Ferricyanide, another sister of ferrocyanide. Ferricyanide, borate or orthoborate. Arsenite, arsenate. You have to just read maybe once or twice or thrice, then you will acquaint yourself, and you know some very small number of practice questions I have given you. Those who are not familiar, I'm not saying all, those who are not familiar must make practice and see the table and rectify yourself. You bring I'm not at all feeling embarrassed to speak this to a class 11 student. I am not at all embarrassed. I know how students, they come from their class 10, even if they are having the best of courses in the world, ICSE. They have the best of, chemistry, physics courses in the world. How they fare, I know. They go miserable because they mug up things. They don't have the logic behind any kind of things. So they fail. So I know. That is why I am not at all embarrassed to speak this to a class 11 student. So make a practice so that next time I will be, this is, and some practice and answers I have also given. Don't see them. Only when you correct, then only you tally with the answers I have given. And also I have asked to split them into ions. One formula unit will produce how many positive and how many negative ions, right? So this is the first thing that you have to do. And how our agenda will change. From formula writing, we'll be doing something different. That is, now I'm showing you deliberately while I introduce you to write the ionic equations, which is very important. In class 12, all the chemical reactions, equations you will be doing with ions. Once you are not confident and you just study in a mechanical manner, in whichever program you join, in a mechanical manner, you just mug up and memorize, that will not help you in the long run, particularly. So the solubility rules are very important, which we say to our class 7, 8 student in uranium. I just remind you, Rudra and others who were with me and heard me saying several times, not once, twice, multiple times I've said that in aqueous solution, how will you know, Samidha, which one is water soluble and produce a colorless, transparent solution? It may be colored like copper sulfate solution. It may be a blue copper sulfate, green ferrous sulfate. Ferric chloride is reddish brown, can produce, but colorless. Transparent. Swachha. So how to know which substances are soluble? There are few rules. All inorganic acids like hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, phosphoric acid, they are soluble. That rule number 1. All inorganic. I am not saying organic. There are many organic acids, they are insoluble in water. Acetic acid is soluble, but that is a very limited number of examples. Formic acid is soluble. Alkali metal salts, whatever may be the alkali metal, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, but irrespective of its negative ion, its partner, whether it is phosphate or chromate or dichromate, whatever may be its partner, if the metal ion, the positive ion is alkali metal ion, group 1 metal ion, as well as ammonium ion. As well as ammonium ion, the salts, the compounds are soluble. All compounds having lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, ammonium, francium is radioactive, forget about it. You will hardly find a compound of francium in the market. So they are soluble. All nitrate salts are soluble, irrespective of the first name. If the title is nitrate, then they are all water soluble. All nitrates, odd chlorates and perchlorates are water soluble. All acetates, this is an organic radical. Acetates are water soluble. All, no exception. But here are the two which have exceptions. All sulfates are soluble except the sulfates of lead, strontium, calcium to some extent. It is moderately soluble. We keep it as per the strict definition. We put it inside soluble, but insoluble, but it is moderately soluble. Strontium, barium, mercurous, mercuric, silver. These sulfates are insoluble while other sulfates are soluble. Similarly, chloride, bromide, iodide salts are soluble except this few. Mercurous, that is mercury 1. Nowadays we call mercury 1. Silver and lead. For common purpose, these three, and for uncommon purpose, it is cuprous, as we say now, say copper 1 and thallium 1. These are insoluble. Chloride, bromide, iodides. Right. This simple thing, and the class 8 student hailing from uranium background, they remember. And this table you need not remember. Automatically, the one which is not soluble is bound to be insoluble. But since you are class 11 student, I have given you another table, insoluble table, which are insoluble. All fluorides are insoluble, except there the exception was insoluble. Here the exception is soluble. That sodium, potassium, all alkali metal fluorides are soluble. Along with that, silver ion, thallium ion, ammonium fluoride, that also soluble. All oxides and hydroxides are insoluble, except, the hydroxides of these alkali metal ions, as well as, strontium, barium, calcium. Calcium is moderate, that is why I have made it, this green. Strontium, barium, radium, thallium, ammonium, these oxides and hydroxides are also soluble. All carbonate salts, sulfite, phosphate, not sulfate, sulfite, phosphate, arsenate, chromate, they're all insoluble except alkali metal, carbonate, sulfate, sulfite, phosphate, arsenate, and chromate. All alkali metals salts, beryllium salt and magnesium salt is moderately soluble. They come under insoluble category, soluble category, and ammonium. So this one which I'm saying it is green, it is moderately. 11 mouse, 11 PUC. So strictly I'm going to solubility now according to the definition that you'll be knowing solubility definition called class 11 introduce kara jaye. So say tare I mean no, but it's really moderately soluble. Beryllium carbonate is really soluble. These things, if you remember, just read once, you will find that. So once I ask you to write an ionic equation, let us develop an ionic equation, say neutralization reaction, sulfuric acid plus NaOH. We bring about an acid reacting with a base to form salt and water. This is sodium sulfate. What is the formula of sodium sulfate? Na2SO4, not NaSO4. Just because here it is Na, you will write NaSO4. No. The formula is to be written as per the charge, that is valency of the individual cation and anion that is forming the molecule or so-called molecule, sodium sulfate and water. Then you have to balance. This is an ordinary neutralization reaction which needs no special technique to balance. Simply you go for hit and trial method to balance. There is one sodium here, so two sodium here, so you have to put 2 as coefficient. And then we have this hydrogen is 4 and oxygen 2, so make it 2 so that everything is now balanced. Now this is a balanced equation. Now we forget about balancing now. I'm deliberately not using the balanced coefficients. Simply, I will use the solubility rule to put a symbol Ac for the ones which will be water soluble, aqueous, and which is not like liquid. Like water is a liquid, bromine is a liquid, so have to put L. And gases, all the common gases, SO2 is a gas at room temperature. Nitrogen is a gas, H2S is a gas, and so on. Put G symbol beside a gas, L symbol beside a liquid like water, and Ac symbol beside a substance which is soluble, as you know from the solubility rules, and the one which is insoluble comes as a precipitate, that you write S. S stands for solid, not soluble. It appears as a precipitate in a reaction. Are you feeling a little uncomfortable? Because I'm sure that these uranium guys who have joined, they will never ever feel out of the way if I converse the entire class in English deliberately. But I must expect that those hailing from CBSE and ICSE, they will have no difficulty in understanding in the language of the world, international language, the English. Now, rule number 1, all acids, inorganic acids are soluble. So put an Ac symbol. All sodium compounds are soluble, Ac. All sodium compounds are soluble. And also all sulfates are soluble under the exception category. Calcium, barium, strontium, lead is not coming. So this is Ac. In either way, you can identify this is aqueous or water soluble, and this is a liquid. Then we convert into ionic equation. This we write the total ionic equation, TIE, where we will convert only the ones which get the Ac symbol. The one which gets the Ac symbol, that is dissolving in water, they will produce the respective positive and negative ions. Usually. But there are some cases which are water soluble, but they do not produce ions. I'll tell you, I have not yet told those cases like organic acids like acetic acid, which is so weak that we don't split them into ions. But it is Ac, but not to be split into ions. But those cases, I will tell you many things which so far I have not told you because you were at a different stage. Now, what are the ions produced from sulfuric acid? It is H plus SO4 2 minus. Don't write 2H plus. Don't write the number. We are not bothered to balance the molecular equation and hence also not bothered to balance the ionic equation. We are going to develop the ionic equation, not to balance it. So, and this is the sodium hydroxide will produce Na plus and OH minus, right? Ac. Then Na2SO4 will produce Na plus and SO4 2 minus. No, don't write 2 Na plus. I will train you to identify the ions and their charge. How many positive charge? How many electrons it has lost? That is positive charge. And how many electrons, additional electrons it has gained? That is negative charge. And you cannot do anything to the ones which is shown with symbol L, S or G. Gas, solid, precipitate or liquid cannot undergo any dissociation. So you have to copy as such. You have to copy as such. This is the total ionic equation. Whichever will produce ions, those which are soluble, ionic compounds which are soluble, they will split into their individual positive and negative ions. Others which are liquids, which are solids, here there is no solid, there is a liquid here. A gas, they will be copied as such. After having done that, you see what are the spectator ions, which, just like we watch the IPL, raise your hands who are fond of watching IPL matches up and down when you are a little free and want to relax. You watch IPL matches, you like the game of cricket and you like IPL matches. Only Anubhav? Very interesting. No one else. Ashish Tripathi. Who else? Only two cricket lovers. I sometimes watch, no doubt. When I am relaxing after continuous work, then I sometimes watch. Not at the cost of my work. If I am, with some work like this, I prioritize my work to any other activity in the world. So that also you might be doing the same. Now you cancel out the spectator, and this side sodium, this side sodium. How to know which one is spectator? If that species will be found on both the sides, that is a spectator. Just like we watch the IPL match as a spectator, or go to a stadium to watch a match, maybe a football, soccer, or any other match as a spectator. So here the ions are spectators, have not undergone any change. They are remaining as such. So you cancel them. They are non-entities. They do not have any role in the chemical game. So sulfate ion are to be cancelled. And what are the real hero ions, which are players? Which are players in the chemical game? One is H plus ion coming from acid, and the other one OH minus ion coming from base. Give you CSK wins the match. This is Dhoni and this is Jadeja. Winning is this water, is the product that CSK, the Chennai Super King, wins the match. Just I'm giving you, this is called the Nade ionic equation. If you remove the non-entities, the non-players from the total ionic equation, you find a very sweet-looking, good-looking, small equation, ionic equation called Nade ionic equation, or simply ionic equation. Now, I would like you to raise your hands who have understood. I introduced how to develop the ionic equation first, the total ionic equation, and then cancelling the spectator from both the sides and reducing into a very good-looking, beautiful, handsome little equation called the Nade ionic equation. बेनजीर, आप समझ रहे हैं या नहीं? बेनजीर, हाँ बेनजीर, आप समझ नहीं रहे या आप सो गए? आप हैं बेनजीर? मतलब he is gone. Okay. Make sure that if you are missing some part because of network issues, make sure to watch the video. Video is running live now, but you only watch when you miss something out, or if you want to revise, you can watch. And if possible, if you feel like, you can hit on the subscribe button if you feel like. What I was saying, let's take another one. This time, the newcomers will fall flat. Newcomers will definitely fall flat. There is some intriguing aspect. It's simple. A metal like zinc reacts with nitric acid to give you zinc nitrate, and say gas, say NO2 and water. All metals are solids excepting mercury, which is a liquid. And there are some few which are liquids under Indian conditions, under hot conditions. So all metals, zinc is a solid at room temperature, and this is AC. All inorganic acids are water soluble. AC. All nitrates are water soluble. Point number 3, AC. This is a gas, reddish brown gas, water is a liquid. Now I'll give you two minutes time to break down into total and then net. Done. Nihar, you have done. Nikita, you have done. Didi. 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 কোন কিছু কৌন জবাব দৌন দিদি শোই পড়লেন কি দিদি बेनजीर आप हो क्या
Yeah, yes, sir. Due to some network issues, it's getting disconnected.
Oh, there was some network issues.
Yes, sir.
Oh, कोई बात नहीं सीजन सो खत्म करके हाथ ऊपर उठाइए आई एम गिविंग यू 1 minute मोर
Yes, sir.
Three hands raised. Nihar Patro, Ayush, Anubhav, and what happened? Rudra, are you here or are you are gone? Rudra, yes. Okay, to save time, Ashish, Harshita, and Samidha, just look. It is the solid. We can't do anything about solid. To write like this. Nitric acid has two ions. Hydrogen ion is the positive ion. Nitrate ion is the negative ion. And zinc nitrate, if you split it, is zinc ion. And two nitrate ion. You need not write two. Simply nitrate ion. What ions? Don't try to balance it. Then you can do nothing about NO2, which is a gas, and do nothing about water, which is a liquid. Then you feel like, let me ask the one. Nihar, tell me what is the net ionic equation? Nihar, read out. Read out. Hari?
Sir, H
ना बंद कर दियो तुम माइक्रोफोन रु किसी वॉइस सुबुनी डजंट मैटर आम एठी शिखिबा को आछे तुमर माइक्रोफोन काम करनी अनुभव कहलो
सर नेट आयनिक इक्वेशन टा कहबी
हां या
सर Zn प्लस H प्लस आयन gives rise to Zn plus 2 ion plus NO3 equals 2
NO3 ना NO2
sorry NO2
थर्ड वाटर ए तुम्हें भी धोखा खाई गलो तुम्हें भी धोखा खाई गलो आप भी धोखा खा गए अच्छा आयुष को पचारिया से कुछ मते काई पचारलनी मु तो सेकेंडरी थिली आयुष कहलो
Sir, Zn plus H plus ion gives rise to Zn2 plus ion
तुम्हें
plus
भी
NO2 plus H.
धोखा 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 अच्छा रुद्र
Sir, Zn plus H plus NO3 minus give rise to Zn2 plus NO2 gas plus H2 liquid.
Precisely, Rudra is correct. एठी मु कहितली सब फ्लैट हे जीवो and accepting one guy from the uranium background others also committed the same mistake. Nitrate को प्रथमे तमे काटी देलो well instinctively तमे काटी देलो देखुचो एपटे सेपटे अछि I'm sure you'll be happy if I converse more with Odia but sometimes we pretend as if we hate Odia explanation in Odia. Sometimes we show double standards. That's not really good. Zinc, let us be proud of everything that we have. Zinc plus H plus rahigala kono na you have Zn2 plus NO2 plus water. Hela likhitala pore anubhav तुमको टिके apprehension you should always think that एपट सेपट देखला बेलू गोटे झटका तुमको लगिला कि नहीं आप लोगों
सर नाइट्रोजन
को एक झटका लगा होगा क्योंकि आयोनिक इक्वेशन हो या मॉलिक्यूलर इक्वेशन हो दोनों तरफ एलिमेंट्स समान रहेगा। नाइट्रोजन इधर कहाँ है? इधर NO2 है, Z and this is L. So nitrogen is here, but in the left side its creator is not there. जन्म हो गलेनी किंतु मां नहीं। Without mother how a child will be taking birth? Impossible. So एठी तुमको झटका पाई जीवो जे हे NO2 टा कोन अछि एपटे तार करेस्पोंडिंग स्पेसीज नाही जो गलती से मिस्टेक करिथिलो ताको पुणी आउ थरे काटी दियो लिखि दियो जोटा काटी पकईथिलो लिखि दियो। तो समिधा क्वेश्चन होची काहे कि नाइट्रेट आयन टा एठू कटा हला एठू कटा हला नाही। एठू जो कटा हला नाही ये हीरो मार्का धोनी जे कि NO2 देइछि काउ किछि मनकर बैलेंसिंग आमे करूने। बैलेंसिंग मॉलिक्यूलर इक्वेशन जो बैलेंसिंग करवा मॉलिक्यूलर इक्वेशन टाको बहुत पाइबा नाइट्रेट कहीं ना जिंक नाइट्रेट रे गुडाए स्पेक्टाटर आयन अछंती एठी ए जो स्पेक्टाटर आयन को बैलेंस करबा पई अधिका नाइट्रेट आयन से नाइट्रिक एसिड ही दबो किंतु NO2 टा NO3- ही दबो। तेणु ए NO3- जो लिखिचे हीरो मार्का प्लेयर धोनी आयन will giving you product CSK wins the match। आउ जो काटी देले डाहण पटु काटी देले काहे कि ना डाहण पटे ऑलरेडी हीरो मार्का NO2 अछि सेति पे NO3- र किछि काम नाही। तेरे अंगने में हमारा क्या काम है? ऑलरेडी NO2 अछि प्रोडक्ट। सो NO3- लिखे दरकार नहीं एठु भी काट दबा कॉमन जिंस उडा काट दबा नाइट्रेट आयन एपटे कॉमन आउ जो नाइट्रेट आयन थिबो मॉलिक्यूलर इक्वेशन हमें बैलेंस करिने गुडे नाइट्रेट आयन से जो कटि गला से भी कटि गला बाकी जो रहिला से हीरो मार्का नाइट्रेट आयन। तेणु तुम जापर लिखिला परे राइट साइड रे गोटे प्रकार आयन थी NO2 अच्छी कि गोटे क्लोरीन बाहरी एपटे तुम HCl को काटी पकईच से HCl क्लोराइड आयन रु आसी क्लोरीन तुम काटी देछ कहीं आउ क्लोराइड आयन थिला स्पेक्टाटर आयन आउ क्लोराइड आयन सब काटी पकईच बैलेंस तो करिन ना मु मूलरू कहूची बैलेंस करो नहीं से मोर जाल रे तुम पड़ी जाइछ। मेरे बिल्ली मुझे नहीं मेरे बिल्ली मुझे मी सेटा हला नहीं ठीक मो जाल रे तुम ट्रैप रे पड़ी गल तबे बुझिलो रेज योर हैंड्स कि बुझिला काहे कि नाइट्रेट आयन को हमकु दबा को पड़ला लिखिबा को पड़ला लेफ्ट साइड रे। मिस त्रिपाठी बुझिलो समिधा समिधा
Yes, sir.
हाँ तो देखिनो सो नाइट्रेट आयन को आमे काटी देइथिले समस्ते इनिशियली जेतेबेले प्रैक्टिस करंती काटी दियंती जोटा अनुभव भी कला जोटा कि आयुष कला समस्ते कले किंतु NO2 टा जेहेतु राइट साइड रे अछि तो तुमको बाध्य होइकरी जोटा काटी थिला पुणी आउ थरे लिखिबा को पड़िला राइट। सो दिस इज इट इज अनबैलेंस्ड it is the net ionic equation but not balanced balancing technique आमे next maybe third day दिन आमे पढ़िबा unbalanced। So you will practice I will give you will practice many more mu deini alpo deichi because you will be meeting after 24 hours less than 24 hours we will meet again। तेणु मु तुमको गोटे रिक्वेस्ट करी जो माने मो संगरे रहिबो and you want to benefit from this program तो से माने टिके सीरियसली नबो एवं तमर जत्ते स्कूल थाउ बा तमर अन्य कोचिंग थाउ किछि समय बाहर करिवो मे बी हाफ एन आवर बाहर करके टिके जोड़ा को मु देइछि प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन ताको करिवो करिक आंसर संगरे सब गुडा आंसर भी देइथिबी टू बिकॉज इट इज वेरी वेल प्लान्ड शेड्यूल हैरान हवा पई तापर देखिबो स्टिल भी फिर भी अगर कोई आपका कोई परेशानी रहा और कोई डाउट्स रहा तो बिना हिचकिचाहट यू कैन आस्क मी यू कैन। आजकल तो व्हाट्सएप का जमाना है तो अगर हम अभी आपका फोन पिकअप नहीं कर पाए लेकिन बाद में आपका व्हाट्सएप देखने के बाद जरूर मैं आपको पहुंचूंगा। आई विल रीच यू एज soon as possible. Then another half an hour we will so we have completed formula writing, we have completed ionic equation। I would feel like eta tame ghare karibo I will not spend more time on this। eta likhi dio potassium permanganate KMnO4 plus sulfuric acid plus ferrous sulfate. Ferrous, iron 2 sulfate, 2 get cancelled because we are finding the empirical formula. So 2 कटिगला कि 82 अच्छी 84 अच्छी एटी काटिक 81 82 so 2 टा ठीक आसिला. So ये जो करू हमें is empirical formula पाई छोटो कर दो जत्ते simplest formula हो, and this will give you K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus ferric sulfate or iron 3 sulfate Fe2SO4 whole 3 plus water. Eta obviously for all potassium salts are soluble, all inorganic acids are soluble, all sulfates are soluble. तार exception category iron नहीं, खाली lead अच्छी, calcium, barium, strontium अच्छी, ଆଉ mercury अच्छी, mercurous अच्छी, ये केतोड़ा अच्छी. इतने पढ़ुनी iron से soluble, all potassium salts are soluble, all sulfates are soluble. इतने exception रे manganese पढ़ुनी, all sulfates are soluble. Ultimately गोटी खाली L. এই হিরো সকাশে রিয়াকশনটা হই পারলা. রিয়াকশন র ড্রাইভিং ফোর্স হচ্ছে অবশ্য ড্রাইভিং ফোর্স ওয়াটার নুহে, ড্রাইভিং ফোর্স আমি পরে জানিবা. রিডক্স রিয়াকশন র ড্রাইভিং ফোর্স কোন? দ্যাটস রিডক্স পোটেনশিয়াল, দ্যাটস স্ট্যান্ডার্ড রিডক্স অক্সিডেশন পোটেনশিয়াল, রিডক্সন পোটেনশিয়াল, এগুলা সব ডিসকস পরে করিবা. সো তুমি এবে মু 2 মিনিট ভিতরে করি পারিবো কি? কে করি পারিবো হাত রেখো, করো তাহলে, করো তাহলে. Initially, Rudra and others, we are definitely going slow. Since this program is extended to non-uranium guys, which who are invited to join for the first time in the uranium fold, to ensure that if we can also help them in their career making, if it is possible. So you can also look into what is going on today. If you have a very good friend who can also benefit from this program, you can pass on this information and ask her or him to watch the video and come prepared to my next class. If at all you want to share, usually we do not share things usually. So I was done, Anubhav done, Nihar done. Or I think all three of you are from Berhampur, right? Ayush, tame kon kotu Berhampur to?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anubhav bote OAV, no?
Sir, Baragod, sir.
OAV to?
Yes, sir.
OAV. Nihar Berhampur, yes. Rudra to Dhenkanal or Bhuvan. Rudra, Harshita. Wow, Harshita. Harshita, you are from DAV, LR DAV, right?
Sir, from city.
Huh?
Sir, from city.
CDA DAV, right. Adisri, are you here or you have left?
No, sir, there.
Oh, yes. So you are from Puri. Blessed Sacrament. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Without any delay, just try to learn. Don't feel scared. You revise it. The video is available. If you like, you can click. If you have not, because I forgot to tell you, every class, after 10 minutes, I will put one prize question. One prize question in the video. In the description box, you will find the prize question. And the one, I mean, not one, three, who will send me either taking a picture, if it is a structure based something, you take a picture or you write and send me the answer, even in the chat mode there, or in WhatsApp, you will be considered for a prize. What prize? That will be kept as a secret. At the end of the program, you'll be knowing what's. So the prize question will be given just after 5 minutes of the end of our program. I'll put it in the description box, and you will be answering it as fast as possible. Separately, if it is WhatsApp, in your separate WhatsApp ID, not in the group. It is better that you don't write anything in that chat mode, YouTube chat mode. You give it separately, secretly, secret service. Now, this KMnO4 will be split into K plus and MnO4 minus permanganate ion. So I usually put a round mark over the charge to distinguish between charge and sometime the coefficient, the subscript and superscript, they have to be very cleanly demarcated. So I put usually a round mark over the charge, the valency. Plus sulfuric acid will have H plus and SO4 2 minus. Don't write 2H plus. And Fe2 plus, this is ferrous ion or iron 2 plus ion, and this is sulfate ion. This is in the left side, reactant side. And in the product side, you have K plus, not 2K plus SO4 2 minus. So many of you might be struggling naturally now because you are unfamiliar with the different kind of ions. Formula writing, you are very, very weak. It doesn't matter. To convert weakness into strength is a trivial matter. It's a very simple thing. You need the help of a guide. Possibly, maybe I am that guide. Mn2 plus SO4 2 minus, because the actual charge is 2 plus. They have been cancelled because of simplifying the ratio, empirical formula. And this is ferric. Its balance is here. So Fe3 plus, don't write, sorry, Fe3 plus. I don't write 2 Fe3 plus. We are not writing the number. And sulfate ion is SO4 and its valence is here, 2 minus. And water is the hero. Then at first sight, you think of removing sulfate ion because sulfate ion has not undergone any change. Had it undergone any change, some other type of species of sulfur might be found in the right side. Maybe SO2, maybe S2S. So there is nothing of that type. So SO4 2 minus is a real spectator. Cut them. The only trick that you have to apply, since you are not balancing, that you cancel 2 times in the left side and 3 times in the right side. If you don't do, then you will find a residual sulfate ion in the right side. You cannot convince yourself how it has come, from which source the mother is absent in the left side and a product SO4 2 minus. It is impossible. So you cancel all because you don't find any different species from SO4 2 minus. And the logic is, had you balanced the equation, then the number of sulfate ions would have been equal. Since you have not balanced this equation, you are feeling as if I have cancelled 2 times in the left side and 3 times in the right side. केमती हला? दिथर काटिली अरे एटी मनकर एटी एपट साइड रे एटी 5 7 करके 14 टा मनकर सल्फेट आयन एपट सब मिसै करी 14 टा सो कटिबनी 14 टा हम तो बैलेंस करिने बैलेंसिंग गेम आरंभ हो हमरो थर्ड डे दिन और मे बी काली लास्ट पार्ट को आरंभ हो जिवो सो के प्लस कटि गला बस सबुतक आमे अलिया आवर्जना को आमे हटै देले एंड आफ्टर रिमूविंग दीज the dirt from the pot, you are left with the hero permanganate ion, another hero H plus ion, another hero ferrous ion, and the products are Mn2 plus Fe3 plus. Fe2 plus is a different entity from Fe3 plus. Fe2 plus has lost 2 electrons. I mean, iron has lost 2 electrons. Here, iron has lost 3 electrons. There is one more extra loss of 1 electron. So this is called oxidation. And we will shortly see manganese has an oxidation state of +7. It has been reduced to +2. So reduction has happened in case of manganese and oxidation has happened in case of iron. Hold on. दिल थाम के बैठिए, ये मैं एडवांस आपको कह देता हूं, लेकिन ऑफिशियली वी आर नॉट डूइंग नाउ redox reaction. So this is the net ionic equation. Tell me को मानकर हेइथिला हाथ टेकिलो देखिवा, सबुतक सल्फेट कटै देथिलो तो ना गोटे रहि जाइथिला, बेनाजिर निश्चय गोटे रहि जाइथिबो ए कि नहीं
Sir, H2 टा
Oh, I'm so sorry. गोटे हीरो को हमें छाड़ देले. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. वाटर टा को छाड़ देले. Right? Well, when I say the only mistake that often students commit, they keep one sulfate ion. Sometimes the other type I gave you, they delete one hero. Nitrate ion ta left to bida kar dele kintu NO2 achi. Chloride ion ta pura bida kar dele kintu chlorine achi Cl2.
Yes, sir.
Type of mistake. ये टाइप रो मिस्टेक कोन किछि सल्फेट आयन रो चेंज हेइनी किंतु गोटे पट साइड रे अछि आर पट साइड रे नाही सब गुडा पूरा उड़ेई दबो. Any question that you want to ask, feel free. Okay, then तमे प्रैक्टिस करिवो दी चारटा मु देइची एबे जिबा आ गोटे concept को oxidation number.
Excuse me, sir.
हां आदिश्री.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, the KMNO4 टा गोटे complete आमे ताको molecule पे पेबा ना गोटे compound कया केमति आपु वे रे कया
KMNO4 is an ionic compound containing K plus and MnO4 minus. As I told you repeatedly that ionic compounds, they are not called molecules. We by mistake, गलती से mistake हम करते हैं by saying KMNO4 molecule. But actually it is a formula unit. But I will allow you to tell KMNO4 as a molecule. I'll also real molecule carbon dioxide, glucose, they are real molecules, but you can feel free to commit the same mistake in case of ionic compound. Sodium chloride molecule, potassium sulfate molecule, aluminum sulfate molecule, KMNO4 molecule. I think I have explained what you wanted. Did I?
So next doubt is there. So then MnO4 टा होचे गोटे anion radical, I mean
Yeah.
radical, right? Then on further reaction it divides into Mn plus Mn double plus and O4 that anion oxygen radical.
No. Miss Adisri, you will know that this is a composite ion, sulfate ion. Yes, it's a good question. I appreciate sulfate ion. It's a composite ion. They are made up of 2 elements. But this is unfortunately made up of one metal and another non-metal oxygen. So this is MnO4 minus. So there is no scope of further ionization, I've told you. Because we are not discussing the bonding in between the atoms constituting the complex or the composite ion. We are not able to know. Sulfate ion structure, you will be knowing in your appropriate time, this is all covalent bonds, which are never ever broken in water. They will remain as such. And the heptasulfate ion will move as a bakudo macho. Similarly, manganese ion is also connected with this MnO4 minus. Manganese is connected with oxygen, 3 oxygen and 1/4 oxygen with minus charge. And this will be not further dissociating into Mn. You will know that the hypothetical charge, just now we'll be knowing that the hypothetical charge it will be having, what we say oxidation number is +7. Manganese will have a hypothetical charge, effect charge of +7. The oxidation number is +7 here, right? That has been reduced to +2. So the further dissociation of a negative ion, which is made up of multiple elements like sulfate ion, thiosulfate ion, manganate ion, permanganate ion, will never happen. Only the positive ion, potassium ion will leave, permanganate ion will leave. But within permanganate ion, manganese will be held by 4 oxygen with covalent bonds, and they will not undergo further dissociation. Adisri.
So, sir, if there is no further dissociation, so then in the main ionic equation, how do I get a manganese ion?
How?
How do I get a manganese ion?
How do I?
Get a manganese ion.
In the product.
Yes, sir.
So that is the reaction. You know, this iron 2 plus has per ferrous ion, 1 electron has been lost. And that 1 electron has done the magic. It has penetrated deep into this permanganate ion to reduce from the +7 state to +2 state. And we'll know why not +3, +4, why directly from +7 to +2. We'll know the logic in a very steady manner. So this loss of electron does the magic. This is oxidized to +3, and this electron is capable of reducing manganese. And to separate the oxygen into water, this oxygen gets segregated from permanganate ion, joins hands with H plus ion, and becomes water. And this manganese changes its charge from +7, hypothetical charge, of course, +7 to +2. Any question?
No, sir. Thank you.
So we can't, today I had a plan, little overambitious plan, to tell you many important cases, what we say, the unusual cases where it is not possible to find the oxidation number easily. Those cases and their logic I explained. But nevertheless, if we just study the concept, that will be good enough. Oxidation number, or we say ON, and some people also say oxidation state, OS. They are both one and the same. It is actually originated from covalent molecules and ions. For example, covalent molecules like CO2 is a full covalent molecule, and SO4 2- is a covalent ion. I told you, interacting with the question posed by Adisri, that sulfate ion is an ion, is a part of other potassium ion or sodium ion or other positive ion. But within sulfate ion, the bonding is covalent. So this is covalent ion, and this is a covalent molecule. Now, for such species, the concept of oxidation number came into existence. Scientists put forth a magic number to monitor what is happening to it. It's not the real charge, but the hypothetical charge, which an individual atom will acquire, not acquire, will appear to have if all the shared pair of covalent bonding electrons are transferred to the more electronegative atom. For example, carbon dioxide has a structure like this. Forget about, we are not talking about ionic bond, covalent bonding and Lewis structures. We know our limitations and our program very clearly. Now, between carbon and oxygen, which is more electronegative? Tell me. Electronegative is the tendency to attract the electron pair of the covalent bond. Kahar अधिकार किसका ज्यादा है? ऑक्सीजन और कार्बन दोनों में से किसका इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी, जिसका इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी ज्यादा है उसका नॉन मेटेलिक कैरेक्टर ज्यादा है. तो किसका है? सीजल. सीजल बताइए ना. सीजल. सीजल. आप हाथ ऊपर उठा के बोल नहीं रहे. सीजल.
हेलो.
हाँ हेलो.
वॉइस क्लियर नहीं है
Yeah, I can hear you well, loud and clear.
सर, पर मुझे आपकी वॉइस ठीक से नहीं आ रही.
Oh, then why are you raising your hand? Are you a girl or a boy?
सर गर्ल.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Sometimes, from the name, it is confusing. So I used to ask. Adisri, tell me. Adisri? Benazir, Benazir, आप तो सो रहे थे. हाँ, बोलिए, आप बोलिए.
Sir, carbon.
No. Which is more electronegative? Adisri?
Carbon.
Which is more electronegative? I am not saying less electronegative. Samida? Samida? Precisely. मन रखि था फ्लोरीन होची हीरो तार इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी हमें परवर्ती काल रे तमे पढिबो की पढिबा लेट्स सी पढिबा is a 4. That is an absolute number, nearly 4. Then second highest is 3.5 is oxygen. Third bracketed highest is nitrogen, and chlorine is nearly 3. Then others, bromine is 2.8, and hydrogen, as low as 2. Carbon is 2.5, around 2.5. Hydrogen is 2.2. And metals are less than 2. Metals have lower electronegativity. Non-metals have higher electronegativity. Highest is fluorine. Second highest is oxygen. Nitrogen, chlorine is third highest, bracketed. Bromine is fourth highest. Carbon is as low as 2.5, and hydrogen is still lower than hydrogen. Oxygen is kind of 3.5, kaha 2.5. A unit of 1 is the difference. So, oxidation number concept hala, hands down, Ashish and Anubhav, please down your hands. Oxidation number concept hala, जदि जो कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड्स गुडा अच्छी गोटे कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड रे दीटा इलेक्ट्रॉन आर गोटे तार गोटे एटा डबल बॉन्ड अच्छी आर गोटे तार गोटे आर गोटे तार गोटे जदि एमती होता इन ए फाइन मॉर्निंग एमाने भितरे कली हला जस्ट लाइक यू क्वारल विथ योर सिबलिंग्स इन द सिमिलर मैनर ये मानक तीन जन को भितरे कली हला दे डिसाइड नॉट टू कोएक्जिस्ट हाइपोथेटिकली इन एन इमेजिनेशन लेवल भाव कार्बन कहला मु तुम संग रही परिबनी बांधी की रही परिबनी जेजा घर को जेजा जाओ बेंग पड़ी भात खाओ एमती कहीदेला तापर ठीक अच्छे जोर जार मूलक तार जार इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी अधिका से इलेक्ट्रॉन दीटा जाक नहीं जीव पूरा ठीक अच्छे कार्बन कहबो ठीक अच्छे मु तो तोठू टिके कम इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव तेणु मु छाड़ीबी आ कोन करिवो नियम तो करिचे मोर इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव एलिमेंट विल टेक बोथ द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स ऑफ द पेयर निजर भी नब परर नब when you get extra electron from somebody else you get a negative charge. When you lose your own electron you gain positive charge. So tell me, by the process of this transference of electron, these are all hypothetical. ए दुटा इलेक्ट्रॉन ऑक्सीजन को जीवो ए दुटा इलेक्ट्रॉन ऑक्सीजन को जीवो ए दुटा सब गुडा ऑक्सीजन नहीं जीवो जोर जार मूलक तार might is right. So tell me, carbon will develop what hypothetical charge, imaginary charge? Tell me. Tell me, shout. There is no one to watch us. Shout.
Sir, 4 plus.
Plus 4. Say, since it is a hypothetical charge, not the real charge, so to distinguish between a real charge and a fake charge, the convention is to put a sign first, then the number. So plus 4 is the hypothetical charge, and that is nothing but the oxidation number of carbon in carbon dioxide. Similarly, each oxygen has how much charge? Each oxygen will develop or will acquire how much charge?
-2. -2.
-4 नुहे कि गुटे बालिका कहूतला -4 नो
सर -2.
हाँ निज इलेक्ट्रॉन जो पाइला सेथिपाई किछि चार्ज कमिबनी माने प्लस नाही कि माइनस नाही किंतु परर इलेक्ट्रॉन जो पाइला ए जो छकी दीटा कार्बन रो इलेक्ट्रॉन पाइला सेथिपाई -2 एटा मध्य -2. सो प्रति ऑक्सीजन रो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर -2 एंड कार्बन रो +4. सो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर हैज टू बी डिटरमिन्ड पर एटम जेते बेले कोवलेंट मॉलिक्यूल इन आयन रे एक्चुअल चार्ज न थाए किंतु जेतेबेले ताकर रिडक्स रिएक्शन हैला ता सेमाने मध्य चेंज हेले जेमति आदिश्री पचारुथिले मैंगनीज ता कोन एबे ताकर क्लैरिटी आउरी पड़िबो जे ताकर गुटे कोन आमे बुझेबे पड़ियो से +2 को गला ताले इठी केते थिला एठी तो क्लियर कट आयरन टा +2 रु +3 को जाईची गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन बांति करी की जाईची तले से इलेक्ट्रॉन टा नेला की केमिति कोन हैला यस बुझे पारिबा वर्तमान से मैंगनीज रो हाइपोथेटिकल चार्ज थिला +7 से इलेक्ट्रॉन ने कि पूरा विदा है कि Mn2+ को खसी आसला बा इलेक्ट्रॉन बैलेंस हमें करिबा चार्ज बैलेंस सब काम हमें करिबा धीरे धीरे सो हमें बुझे पारिबा एवरी इक्वेशन लॉजिकली हमें पढ़ी पारिबा वंस वी अंडरस्टैंड द ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर concept particularly for covalent molecules and ions. Similarly मु जदि गोटे स्ट्रक्चर करिबी तुम्हें कहि परिबो जे मु गोटे अनयूजुअल स्ट्रक्चर करूची गोटे छाड़ डिटेल्स लिखुनी एटा गोटे थायोसल्फेट आयन H2O3 2- एठुड माइनस अच्छी एठुड माइनस अच्छी माने गोटे एक्स्ट्रा इलेक्ट्रॉन बाहर के देइची तर एसिड तार गोटे एसिड H लागि थिला H+ आयन पळीची हाइड्रोजन रो गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन छाडी की जाईची तेणु -1 तेणु एपटे मध्य H थिला H+ आयन पळेला ता इलेक्ट्रॉन छाडी की जाईची -1 एठी किंतु चार्ज नाही मु पछरिबी क्वेश्चन रे ई मझी सल्फर सेंट्रल सल्फर रो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर केते हो गोटे कथा तो मु कहि दिए ए सेंट्रल ऑक्सीजन रो ON केते गोटे कथा कहि दिए जदि तू तो जे मु तो से इफ द एलिमेंट्स एटम्स आर सेम देन देयर विल बी नो ऑन इक्वल ट्रांसफरेंस जे इलेक्ट्रॉन जे पाइबे तू तो जे मु तो से दीटा जाड़ा भौणी की भाई तोर तो जेतिकी मसल मोर तो सेतिकी मसल तोर कोन अधिका बळ होइछ तू नै जी मो इलेक्ट्रॉन तेणु से केस रे जेझा इलेक्ट्रॉन पाइले एवं जदि से अन्य कहा संगे लागि नथिबो तार चार्ज 0 आसीबो तार ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर 0 आसीबो तो एठी दी प्रकार रो सल्फर हमें पाइबा गोटे सेंट्रल ऑक्सीजन पाई गोटे प्रश्न पचारली आउ किछि समय परे मु पचरिबी व्हाट इज द ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर ऑफ दिस सल्फर सो तुम्हें बीटा आंसर दबो कहीं गोटे एग्जांपल मु दे सारलिनी जे जदि एलिमेंट दीटा सेम हेतिबो आइडेंटिकल से मानकर इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर टा इक्वली डिवाइडेड हबो इक्वली डिवाइड हेले जेझा इलेक्ट्रॉन फेरी पाइबे सो से जोगु किछि चार्ज हबो नाही सो अनुभव हाथ टेकिलेनी रुद्र हाथ टेकिलेनी now in the coming tomorrow's class you will be exposed to interesting examples मु चाहूची तुम टिके acquainted हे जाओ फॉर्मूला राइटिंग रे आयोनिक इक्वेशन जति की पढ़ाला acquainted हे जाओ टिके टिके कर दियो 24 घंटा अछि तुम्हें बाहर करिया पड़ियो राति तुम जदि रात्रि चर होइथिबो ताले रात्रि काम सार दबो के जण 9टा बाजला माने वोल्टेज तांकर आसी वाला 220 रु पूरा पूरी 110 हे कि आस्ते आस्ते 40 50 वोल्टेज को पळे आसे तापर के जण अछंती से माने किंतु अर्ली मॉर्निंग उठंती अर्ली मॉर्निंग उठी कर दो तुम स्कूल जीवा पूर्वरु किंबा कोचिंग जीवा पूर्वरु कर दो वेल तुम जदी इनते लाइटली नबो ए जो 10 डेज प्रोग्राम को दैट आल्सो आई डोंट माइंड किंतु मो से इंटरेक्शन करि परिबनी मोटू जो बेनिफिट पाइबा कथा मोटू नुए ए संस्था मिलबनी किंतु मोर किसी ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं as long as you are not disturbing me I have no problem to accommodate you in the Zoom class neither I will coax or apply pressure kahi colony no that's not my cup of tea it's not my cup of tea it is you who has to be motivated if at all I can act as a motivator then I will feel myself fortunate so dekho आदिश्री हाथ टेकिलेनी आदिश्री तुम को स्कूल रो
so Blessed Sacrament High School Blessed Sacrament High School
Lord and his son and कौन तीनटा जिनिस कहंती मु आमे Lord and his son and कौन सेटा कहलो आदिश्री
About principles.
नाम क्रिश्चियंस माने जो कहंती God and his son and मदर मेरी से तीनटा टर्म बढ़िया टर्म अच्छी मैं कहती बहुत भल लगे एनीवे देख एटा केते बाहरला कहला मझीटा मु टिके आदिश्री को पचारुची हाथ रे किथिला से आदिश्री केते बाहरला
So +1.
आई एम सो सॉरी अनुभव
Sir, +2 बोथे.
नो आई एम सो सॉरी रुद्र
sir +4
precisely Rudra is correct and एटार
sir 0
precisely Rudra is correct देखो मु समस्त को कहि दोची if I converse sometimes in non-English, it will be rather more acceptable than if I, strain you with the continuous English. देखो, oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. एठी जो bond अच्छी, एठी गोटे हरेला, oxygen is more electronegative. एठी हरेला गोटे. एठी गोटे single bond अच्छी, एठी भी हरेला, oxygen is more electronegative. कोई जो ता 3.5, definitely sulfur ताटू कम. एठी double bond अच्छी. तेणु ये गोटे टोटाल 4टा इलेक्ट्रॉन हरैलानी डबल बॉन्ड जोगु 2टा इलेक्ट्रॉन सिंगल बॉन्ड दीपट साइड रे 2टा जोगु 2टा इलेक्ट्रॉन सो +4 एमती आसीबा कथा किंतु एईटा तू तो जे मु तो सी तेणु मझिरु कटा हला जेजा इलेक्ट्रॉन फेरी पाइले सो निज इलेक्ट्रॉन फेरी पाइले कौन सी चार्ज नाही सो 4टा इलेक्ट्रॉन से लूज कला फल रे सल्फर हबो +4 ए सल्फर किछि इलेक्ट्रॉन पाइलानी कि देला नाही निज इलेक्ट्रॉन फेरी पाइले किछि तार चार्ज डेवलप करे नाही तेणु एईटार ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर 0 तेणु ए मॉलिक्यूल आयन रे दी प्रकारिया सल्फर अछंती गोटे +4 मार्का मझीटा आ गोटे 0 मार्का जोटा पेरिफेरी रे अछि ऊपरे रेज योर हैंड्स हु हैव अंडरस्टूड रेज योर हैंड्स हु हैव अंडरस्टूड जे थायोसल्फेट आयन रे को कहते थायोसल्फेट आयन रे दी प्रकार रो सल्फर अछंती गोटे हला बीच वाला सेंट्रल जेटा +4 डबल बॉन्ड पाइन 2टा इलेक्ट्रॉन हरैबो सिंगल बॉन्ड 2टा पाइन 2टा इलेक्ट्रॉन हरैबो एठी ऑक्सीजन इज मोर इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव से नै जीवो किंतु एठी तू तो जिए मु तो सीए केही कहार इलेक्ट्रॉन नै परिबेनी सो मात्र 4टा इलेक्ट्रॉन हरैबो सो +4 and this sulfur which is in the periphery will not gain or lose any electron, so its oxidation number is 0. Now, with this, we will conclude by writing down some rules for finding oxidation number. There are simple rules which you follow now, but later on, when you study the chemical bond, you know the structure of a real a complex molecule or an ion, then you can find out if there are multiple such atoms of a same element, then whether they are identical type in oxidation number or they are of different oxidation numbers, you can find out once you know the Lewis bond structure, which you are not supposed to know now in our program. So simple rules to apply karibo. 1, elementary state re rahile uncombined state re rahile the oxidation number is 0. Like the metal Zn, Na, or even Cl2, Br2, O2. कारण तू तो जे मु तो से बॉन्ड थिले भी कौन हबो ए भांगिले भी तू नहीं परिबनी मोर कि मु नहीं परिबनी तोर सो दीज आर अनकम्बाइंड स्टेट रे ना से देइछि ना देइछि केवल कंपाउंड रे जे दबा नबा कथा आसीबो बॉन्डिंग हेले आयनिक बॉन्ड हो कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड हो इवन एथरे कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड थिले भी O3 S8 किछि ने सब सल्फर रो 0 तू तो जे मु तो से कौन हबो बस 2 नंबर लिखिलो ऑक्सीजन रो सब बेले -2 किंतु एक्सेप्शन 4टा अछि क्लास 11 माने मु 4टा जाक कहबी गोटे हला पेरोक्साइड ताकू चिन्ह पेरोक्साइड रो फार्मूला कोन O2 2- एवं सेथिरे ऑक्सीजन होची -1 दीटा को जदी 2- गोटा पिछा पड़ला केते ना -1 सब बेले ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर गोटे एटम पिछा per a single atom it is determined, not per 2 atoms or 4 atoms. So duita oxygen pai charge is 2 minus, so gota pai rahila -1. So oxidation number of oxygen in peroxide ion O2 2 minus, it is -1. Then it in superoxide au gote prakar dekhibo valency 1 re superoxide ion, it is O2 1 minus. तो दीटा आटम को जिते -1 शेयर कर गोटे पिछा केते पड़ला ना -1/2. दिस इज ऑल हाइपोथेटिकल. दीटा ऑक्सीजन -1 चार्ज को शेयर कर बांटी करी नहीं गोटे आटम पिछा केते पड़ला -1/2. देन ऑक्सीजन डाइफ्लोराइड is oxygen +2. now देखो ऑक्सीजन डाइफ्लोराइड रो स्ट्रक्चर जदि मु करिवि जो लोक हीरो होइतिला सेही लोक 0 हबो. ऑक्सीजन टा होची सेकंड हाईएस्ट, फ्लोरीन टा होची हाईएस्ट. तेणु वर्तमान जो लोक नौथिला अन्यर सी वर्तमान दब, जे नेता साजी थिला वर्तमान दाता हबो. So ultimately O will lose 2 electrons on both the sides, so it will be developing +2 charge, and each fluorine will develop -1 charge. So oxygen difluoride re hochi +2, and oxygen monofluoride or dioxygen difluoride oxygen hochi +1. यार स्ट्रक्चर एही भलिया से तू तो जे मु तो से मझिरे अछि, एठी किछि ऑक्सीजन चार्ज गेन करिवनी. सो ए ऑक्सीजन से ऑक्सीजन मझिरु फाटी जीवो, एईटा केवल लूज करिवो एठी केवल सॉरी. तेणु ये P+1 ये भी +1. ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर इंडिविजुअल एटम पिछा निरूपण करते. एंड ए जोगु ए बॉन्ड ब्रेकिंग जोगु किछि लॉस हबनी कि गेन हबनी, से जोगु चार्ज डेवलपमेंट किछि हबनी. सो डाइऑक्सीजन डाइफ्लोराइड रे +1. एई चारिटा एक्सेप्शन छोड़ा all other compounds oxygen is -2. lekhicho to? Are you writing? So I am very happy that muluru jetiki pila join karithilo setiki pila hi bartaman jake acha. Are you feeling little monotonous? You want me to abruptly end this program and vanish, or to complete the rules, another 3-4 rules, and do some examples, even if not the typical ones, the paradoxical cases. There will be so many paradoxical cases. It will be appearing to you something else, but actually it is something else. So either I will tell you by drawing the structure. I will not ask you to draw the structure at this stage, or some other tricks I will tell you that tomorrow. But let me first finish. Should I finish? Raise your hands. How many of you are now have not lost patience? With equal patience, it's not a joke. Anything you talk above 1 hour, it will go almost above the head. It will go above the head. But all of you, Ashish Tripathi, are you feeling? No. Ashish Tripathi, are you feeling monotonous? Just to end the class abruptly?
No, sir.
You must encourage me. झूठा ही सही, पल भर के लिए प्यार हमें कोई कर ले, झूठा ही सही. Oh, I'm sorry. कभी कभी ख्याल आता है, तो कभी कभी हम रिलैक्स करेंगे म्यूजिक से, तो कोई बात नहीं. तीन नंबर पॉइंट है hydrogen which always has an oxidation number of +1, except in metal hydrides. You will find in valency 1 minus negative ions, there is a hydride ion. Hydrogen is gaining 1 extra electron to make it a hydride ion, in which hydrogen has an oxidation number of -1. Obviously, if it is sodium hydride, the formula is NaH. Na is more electropositive, less electronegative. Hydrogen is more electronegative. So it is carrying a -1 charge, and this is +1. So similarly, calcium hydride, it is -1. I am not writing -2, because time and again I am saying that oxidation number is determined per a single atom, not for 2 hydrogen atoms. Per atom, it is -1. These are hydrides, metallic hydride. Well, Gayatri, Bamidi, you are so anxious she is so anxious, watching us from outside remotely. She is watching and is asking a very, very interesting question, which I was supposed to tell tomorrow, but I will be almost morally forced to answer her question. Most likely Gayatri Bamidi must be, I suspect, anticipates she is a South Indian girl, because th tha is the usual replacement for ta. Gayatri, we say Gayatri. Anyway, if I'm wrong, please excuse me, Gayatri. I'll tell that. And the fourth point is about monoatomic ions. There are many monoatomic ions that you found, like all metal ions, Zn2+. In the combined state, sodium, we write here +2, because we are talking about oxidation number. The concept is fake, but fake is so very powerful. Fake is so very powerful. 2+, sodium +1. So whatever is the real charge, same is the oxidation number. Monoatomic ions like aluminium is +3. And those who are having variable valency like Fe2+ or Fe3+, you have to mention which iron you are talking about, ferrous or ferric. Similarly, cuprous or cupric. So these are monoatomic ions, and their oxidation number is same as their actual charge or valency. Similarly, negative ions, you have monoatomic negative ion, sulfide ion, oxide ion, nitride ion, phosphide ion, carbide ion. So these are monoatomic ions, and their valency is same as, their oxidation number is same as their charge. Chloride, bromide, iodide, these are also same category. Chloride, -1. These are monoatomic ions. And the last one, of course, there is one ornamental rule, that is fluorine is always -1. There is no point in remembering. It is understood that since fluorine is number 1, the highest, most electronegative element, it is bound to be -1 in compounds. Not in talking of, I'm not talking of fluorine as an elementary gas. So it is 0. In compounds, fluorine always enjoys supremacy, -1. And last but not the least is sum of ON in a neutral molecule is 0. Supposing you take sulfuric acid. Supposing you want to find out the oxidation number of sulfur. So apply the rules. Apply the rules. Hydrogen, rule number 3, hydrogen is +1. So here you have to multiply how many hydrogen atoms are there in the molecule 2. So 2 into +1. You have to find out the total oxidation state. Total peak charge. Plus sulfur, supposing X. And there are 4 oxygen. And each oxygen is -2. Rule number 2. So this is 0. Is a neutral molecule. The sum of the fake charges also will be equal to 0. May be fake. झूठा ही सही लेकिन 0. So X कितना निकला? समिधा, X कितना आया? Miss Tripathy.
Sir, 6.
Sir, 6.
ICTC 2, MKCG, that's my doubt. Which one is doubt? You have not, ICTC 2, you have not written your doubt. But Gayatri has written her doubt. I will explain that in a bit. Just give me a bit. X कितने भरला? कितना आया X? अरे बताइए. हाँ?
Sir, 6 plus 6.
+6, right? Plus. Don't say 6 means plus. 6 means +6. Don't say that. Mandatorily, you are advised to write plus, even if it is positive. I mean, it is positive. You must mention +6. Even if by saying 6, it means +6. Right? +6. So this is the last but not the least is the sum of ON in a polyatomic ion. Polyatomic ion like phosphate ion, sulfate ion, is equal to the charge of the ion. The sum of ON in a polyatomic ion is equal to the charge of the ion. For example, we find nitrate ion. Nitrate ion is 1 minus. I want you to find the oxidation number of nitrogen here. It is X supposing, and there are 3 oxygen, 3 into minus 2. And here the sum will not be sum will not be 0. It will be minus 1. When you are handling an ion, the sum of the oxidation number is equal to the charge, the net charge of the ion, the valency of the ion, the net charge. So, kitna aaya X?
So 5
Plus
plus 5.
5. Say plus 5. So, in a pencil, it is always advisable to write the oxidation number in a pencil with a round mark to distinguish the actual charge and the fake charge. Right? In a pencil. That is
Excuse me,
the
sir.
hypothetical. Yes.
Sir, my question is, even if we don't put the plus symbol, will it be taken as a wrong answer or a right answer?
What?
So the plus symbol, if we don't put that plus symbol and if we
Oh,
write
that's a
only
trivial
5
question.
or 6,
बेनाजीर इसको छोड़िए आप मेरे कहने के मुताबिक आप कीजिए ठीक है
okay, sir.
It is
Yes,
always
sir.
looking better, universally it is a convention, you have to write plus. अगर नहीं दोगे तो heaven is not going to fall on your head. So अब अगर
Okay,
नहीं
sir.
दोगे तो ठीक है
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Then that is the end. Supposing I'll ask you to just find out the oxidation number of chlorine in chlorate ion. Same chlorine in perchloric acid, it is a neutral molecule. Same, in another case, I'm saying manganese in KMnO4. In Cr2O7, 2 minus in dichromate ion. I'm giving 2 ions and also I'm giving a positive ion NH4 plus. 1 positive ion, these are all polyatomic ions, and these are 2 negative ions and 2 neutral molecules. Find the oxidation number of underlined species. So obviously, since definitely one viewer, Gayatri has motivated me, has excited me to tell you about one such interesting example where you will not find the oxidation number correctly until you draw the structure. And I'll tell you the trick. Even if you do not draw the structure, you will predict the correct oxidation number. Rudra has finished. खाली एक्स मेथड रे करिया कथा मो इट्स सप्तम श्रेणी पिला कर दबो धर क्लोरीन एठी देखो समिता एक्स तीनटा ऑक्सीजन को -6 इज इक्वल टू 0 नुए कान एटा उटा नेगेटिव आयन सो इज इक्वल टू -1 तले एक्स केते बारला अभिजीत केते बारला अरे कुहो +5 so chlorate ion रे oxidation number +5 जदि तुम पाखरे पेंसिल अछि लिखि दियो गोटे गोल बोले दियो because there will be class ClASH युद्ध हबो between the real charge and fake charge हैला सेमति परक्लोरिक एसिड रे क्लोरीन रो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर केते हाइड्रोजन हमेशा +1 एटा मेटालिक हाइड्राइड नुहे क्लोरीन धरो x चारिटा ऑक्सीजन को -8 मने मने करो म 4 दूने 8 4 2 जा -8 is equal to 0 because it's a neutral molecule ताले x केते बारला +7 so आ ऊपर लिखि दियो +7 करी गोल बुले दियो पेंसिल रे if you have a pencil then again a neutral molecule potassium is a monoatomic ion +1 potassium is a monoatomic ion valency 1 so +1 manganese x and oxygen गोटा को -2 हेले चारटा को -8 is equal to 0 since it is a neutral molecule so x केते बारला
Sir,
So
plus 7.
+7.
And
if Gayatri, sometimes I'm mixing Odia language. If you are unable to understand, don't worry. I am also speaking in everything in English, and I'm deliberately mixing Odia, the language of the soil, to make my Odia audience more accessible to my concepts. I mean, understanding part will be more confident if there is a mixing. No, ଆଜିକାଲି ସାଦା ଭାତ କାହାକୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି? ଆମେ ଯଦି ବିରିୟାନୀ କିଏ ମଗେଇଦବ, that too chicken biryani, then ଆମ ଲାଳ ବୋହିବ, our mouth will water, and we will be needing some kachambar, a large quantity of kachambar to add to its taste palate. So x কেতে বাড়লা?
Sir,
আরে কেতে বাড়লা?
+7.
+7.
+7.
Sir, also I have a doubt in finding oxidation number of, oh my God, okay. Okay, tomorrow I will take your Gayatri one question today, and you will find countless such interesting species I will discuss tomorrow. Don't worry, you continue to attend, even if you stay remotely, but be there with me. I'm so encouraged. Thank you. Now, +7, eta +7, and dichromate ion kete bharla? Eti khali x double 2x. Current oxidation number is found for one atom, so gotte pai x hale dita ku 2x. -14, 7 dune 14, -14 is equal to 0 nue, -2, because it is a ionic polyatomic ion. So x kete barla?
+2.
+6. So chromium upare +6 lekhi goal kori diyo. And ammonium ion re kete barla? Nitrogen, oh sorry, underline korini. Nitrogen re underline kariya ku bhuli jaichi. So nitrogen dharo x, charita hydrogen ku +4 is equal to +1. X kete barla?
Sir, -3.
-3.
-3.
अच्छा मजा जिनस क्लाइमैक्स सीन आसीगला आमे जो बाहर करथिले थायोसल्फेट आयन रो एक्स मेथड रे कलो देखिबा you will be totally disillusioned. You will find an average value. एठी एक्स मेथड रे एटा दी प्रकार रो सल्फर बिली केमिति आमे जानले स्ट्रक्चर ड्रॉ कले बोली आमे जानले किंतु एई फार्मूला जो एलिमेंटरी जो रूल्स मेथड रे से कैन नॉट डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन को सल्फर मझिरे अछि कि बाहरे अछि कि तू तो जे मु तो से एक कथा से बुझिबनी x 2x -6 is equal to -2 हेले x is equal to
Sir,
+4 बाहरला कि नहीं नहीं +2 बाहरला केते बाहरला बाहरला +2
Sir, +2.
-2x is equal to +4 हेले x is equal to +2. So as a beginner, class 11 रो beginner पिला को जे जान नथिबो paradoxical cases सी कहि दबो +2, but +2 is not untrue, it is average. कारण आमे जो करिथिले स्ट्रक्चर रू आमे जानिथिले मु प्रथम रु तुमको टिके तड़का देइथिली तड़का रे मु देखैथिली आई एम सॉरी जे एटा तू तो जे मु तो सी एटा 0 बाहर थिला एटा +4 बाहर थिला अच्छा +4 आ 0 रो एवरेज केते की दीटा सल्फर जदि एवरेज बाहर करबा केते +2 पड़ला कि नहीं अरे हो कि
Yes,
नहीं
sir.
तेईटा ही बाहरिला हमरो एक्स मेथड रे से एवरेज ता ही बाहरला किंतु हमर जो नीट जेई प्रोग्राम रे तुमको पत्रा जीवो द थायोसल्फेट आयन रे सल्फर ऑक्सीडेशन इज a +2 b 0 c +4 d both b and c नहीं both +4 and 0 गुड आंसर हो
Sir, both.
+4 and 0 गोटे थिबो +2 जोटा एवरेज गोटे थिबो 0 खाली 0 भी नुहे गोटे थिबो +4 आ गोटे डी ऑप्शन थिबो बोथ 0 and +4 आंसर हो बोथ 0 and +4 बाहरटा 0 मझीटा +4 सो को परीक्षा रे तुमे कोन आंसर दबो यू मस्ट नो द फंडामेंटल कांसेप्ट्स वेल सेमिति गोटे एग्जांपल से देइची से गायत्री मैडम पचारचंती H2SO8 किंबा थायोसल्फेट आयन एका कथा सॉरी पेरॉक्सी डाइसल्फेट आयन एटा कहंती पेरॉक्सी डाइसल्फ्यूरिक एसिड तुम जदि कानरे विभिन्न जिनिस पशुची कि जानि नथिलो डोंट बी स्केयर्ड एट ऑल बारंबार पसिबो पसी कान गिलो भितरे पसिकरी भितर को पळै जो ब्रेन भितरे पसिबो पेरॉक्सी डाइसल्फ्यूरिक एसिड एटा कहंती पेरॉक्सी डाइसल्फेट आयन बा सिंपली परसल्फेट आयन इंग्लिश रे पीएच जगह एफ लिखती से माने आउ ब्रिटिश रे पीएच लिखती आयन एका कथा सल्फर एका बाहर से आयनटा तो ये आसी तेणु आयन रे -2 कले जहाँ बाहर ये 0 पकड़े से बाहर तो बाहर कर जेकोसी गोटाक सल्फर एक्स मेथड रे केते बाहर बाहर कर गायत्री will also join with me in calculating दीटा हाइड्रोजन को +2 + 2x -8 दुने 16 8 2 जा 16 is equal to 0 so x केते बाहरला 2x is equal to जदी हला 14 x बाहरला +7 एठी तुम मुंड टायल धरनब तमे तो क्लास 10 पास करिवो तो ना नहीं निश्चय करिवो and with flying colors will come out can the group 16 element or the so-called the erstwhile group VIA elements share 7 electrons. All of these members of oxygen family, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, they have only 6 electrons in their valence shell. Oxygen 2, 6, sulfur 2, 8, 6. 6 is the last cell number of electrons. So 6टा ता पाखरे तो 6टा इलेक्ट्रॉन अछि गहम गोटी गणता आम इंग्लिश इन ओडिया देयर इज ए ढग गहम गोटी गणता से 7टा इलेक्ट्रॉन आसीबो कोठु शेयरिंग करिवो से शेयरिंग करथिले तो से लूज करिवो तो शेयर करिया पे 6टा इलेक्ट्रॉन टोटल अछि सो ए केस रे तमे ट्रिक ओते वारी एटा कोन आसीवाला समथिंग डाल में जरूर कुछ काला है स्ट्रक्चर रे किसी गड़बड़ी अछि जोटा का हमें पढ़ाईनी सेति पई हेछि किंतु एठी तमे ताकू संगे संग चेंज कर दबो नामुमकिन नॉट पॉसिबल लिखि दबो नॉट पॉसिबल से केस रे कोन करिवो ना तार हाईएस्ट ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट को पळे आसीबो ग्रुप नंबर इन द अर्स्टवाइल ओल्ड मेथड +6 6टा इलेक्ट्रॉन तार वैलेंस सेल रे अछि सो +6 जाके मैक्सिमम जाई परिबो सो मैक्सिमम रु तो टॉपिला माने +7 +8 बेले बेले S2 सॉरी S2 SO5 रे +8 को पळे जिवो तो ये +8 रु कटेगिरी +6 करिवो एठी +7 को कटेगिरी कमेगिरी +6 करिवो तो +6 जो हैला आमे जानिले से ना किंतु स्ट्रक्चर परवर्ती काल रे जो जानिबो सेतबे जानिबो परे पेरॉक्सी डाइसल्फ्यूरिक एसिड रे गुटे पेरॉक्सी बॉन्ड अछि देयर इज अ पेरॉक्सी बॉन्ड एट द मिडल एटा तमे जानिबो को मु कहूनी एटा एसिड हेले H लागिवो जदि तार आयन होबो H टा पळेबो एपटे जहाँ सेपटे से अछि किंतु मझिरे गोटे पेरॉक्सी लिंकेज अछि तेणु एटी तू तो जी मु तो सी तेणु सल्फर देख जेकोसी गोटे सल्फर को देख केतेटा इलेक्ट्रॉन से लूज करिवो ए डबल बॉन्ड पई दीटा इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करिवो ए डबल बॉन्ड पई दीटा इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करिवो ए सिंगल बॉन्ड पई गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करिवो ए सिंगल बॉन्ड पई गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करिवो बस होला काम 6टा इलेक्ट्रॉन तो ता तो अछि 6टा इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज करले +6 होला आ +7 कोड असला इटे भी सही जिंस जेहेतु ए ऑक्सीजन भितरे बॉन्ड अछि सिंगल बॉन्ड अछि तू तो जे मु तो सी ए ऑक्सीजन रो चार्ज केते हो के कहि परिबो ए ऑक्सीजन रो ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर केते हो नाउ दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू लास्ट क्वेश्चन आई वांटेड टू मेक इट अ प्राइज क्वेश्चन बट आई विल नॉट ए ऑक्सीजन ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर केते हो ए ऑक्सीजन सब गुड़ा -2 दीटा एपटे भी -2 ये हाइड्रोजन जीव जदि हाइड्रोजन तो तार इलेक्ट्रॉन दे कि जीव ना सी भी लेस इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिव एठू पाइलानी सो -2 एठी भी एटा सब -2 किंतु मझिरे जो दीटा इलेक्ट्रॉन सेटा केते हाइड्रोजन टा +1 मझिरे जो दीटा ऑक्सीजन अछि तार इंडिविजुअली ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर केते रुद्र को पचारिबानी पचारिबा हर्षिता कृष्ण प्रिया
सर 0
केते नो 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 नो
सर 0
नो 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 आउ के कहबो अभिजीत
सर 1
हाँ खाली 1 माने तो मु +1 धरिबी
सर -1
ठीक रि को +1 ना -1
सर -1
प्रिसाइजली 80 -1 सुनो आदिश्री एठू सिना तू तो दिए मु सोचिए एपटू तो गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन पाइला सल्फर तो गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन आकु देला एपट सल्फर गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन आकु देला ए मझी बॉन्ड भांगिला जेझा इलेक्ट्रॉन जेझा पाइले ता जोगु किछि चार्ज आसिलानी কিন্তু এপଟু जो गोटे इलेक्ट्रॉन ये भी पाइछि एपटु गोटे ये पाइछि तेणु ये भी -1 ए भी -1 तबे जानिच पेरॉक्सी कहला माने -1 मु कहिथिली एक्सेप्शन केस रे पेरॉक्सी रे -1 सुपरऑक्साइड रे -1/2 कहिथिली सो एठी पेरॉक्सी लिंकेज अछि किंतु आमे ताकू नॉर्मल ऑक्सीजन बोली भाबिकरी ए स्ट्रक्चर रे -2 समस्त पे दुआमूला अधुआमूला समस्त के -2 नै करी 8 टाकू -16 कर देले किंतु जदि कि हमकु कहि थांता ए भलिया स्ट्रक्चर देथांता S2 O6 O2 आमे जानि पारथंतु जे ये दीटा ऑक्सीजन पेरॉक्सी ऑक्सीजन ता पई O2 2- नबा टोटल दीटा ऑक्सीजन को 2- याकू 6 दुणे 12 एठी 2x एठी +2 तेणु एटा हिसाब कले डेफिनेटली केते आसीबो ना 14 रु 2 गले 14 एपटू 2x +2 -14 इज इक्वल टू 0 ताहले केते हला एठी 2x इज इक्वल टू 12 so x is equal to +6 so automatically हम तो जानी ने आमे 8टा जाक ऑक्सीजन को भाबुतले -2 वाला किंतु प्रकृति रे 6टा -2 वाला आउ दीटा -1 वाला माने O2 2- प्रत्येककर -1 हेले दीटा को -2 सेति पई आमे प्रॉब्लम रे पड़िले सो नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट एमती मल्टीपल केसेस मु तुमको कहिबी डिस्कस करिवि नेक्स्ट टाइम तुमे किंतु मु एटा देखि देबी ट्राए करिवो जेतिकी करिया पई जेहेतु मु ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर चैप्टर टा मु कंप्लीट कली केते गुडा तुमे निजे प्रैक्टिस करिवो सो दैट मु देखि दोछि मु तुमको देबी देई देबी माने ये दे देबी मोर वीडियो रे मध्य डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स रे तार लिंक दे देबी तमे पाई जीवो एई जे जिंस गुडाक जोडाक ये केस गुडाक मध्य देखि परिबो मु डिस्कस करिवि किंतु किछि तमे प्रैक्टिस करिवो एठी जो देइछि ए प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन दो पैराडॉक्सिकल केसेस को देखिबोनी मु रिवील करूनी ए जो देइछि असाइन द ऑक्सीडेशन नंबर जो अंडरलाइन जोटा हिची सेही मानकर सिंपल गुडाक अछि पछरे 10टा खंडे करिवो 10-12टा खंडे करिवो बाकी जोडाक पैराडॉक्सिकल केसेस जोडाक देखा जाउछि गोटे प्रकार रो हबो आ गोटे प्रकार रो से केस जोडाक आमे काली डिस्कशन करिवो so that is the end of today's program so टिके अधिका डोज हे गला जदी नथिंग टू वरी कि एटा कोनोसी स्कूल परीक्षा स्कूल एग्जामिनेशन पई बड़ पडिवनी किंबा कोनोसी कोचिंग पई पडिवनी दिस इज ए जस्ट ए कैजुअल फ्री program that you are joining and if you benefit and you motivate me that my purpose of living will be fulfilled and if you continue with me for more feel free to don't hesitate to ask me bye see you tomorrow and your prize question will follow after 5 minutes you can search and I told you yes kon pacharibo
Still online?
Are
you still online?
What?
Are you still online? Yeah.
You are online. Yes. Do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
What?
So, is there any difference between oxidation number and valency?
The difference between
oxidation number and valency.
Well, valency is a very outdated term. Valency term nobody uses now. Everyone now says oxidation number. The term valency has been totally replaced by the term oxidation state or valency. Whether it is ionic compound or it is truly a covalent molecule or an ion, nobody bothers to say valency. Valency is a very old term. It was meant for ionic compounds. But oxidation number concept originated from a covalent species, but it is now used for every types. If it is a covalent species, then you have to identify which atom you are talking about. Every atom has an oxidation state. But if it is an ionic compound, you have to tell that the valency of phosphate ion is 3-. But what is the oxidation state of phosphorus? In phosphate ion, you have to go for X method, find +5. Okay? So interchangeably, you can use valency for oxidation state, but nowadays nobody बिकज गोटे माड़े दीटा काम हो जाउची एवने गोटे आयोनिक कंपाउंड रो मध्य मोनो एटॉमिक आयन रो मध्य वैलेंसी कहि पारुचे ऑक्सीडेशन स्टेट ऑफ जिंक इज 2 प्लस 2 प्लस चलिबो एवं गोटे पॉलीएटॉमिक आयन रे फॉस्फेट आयन कार्बोनेट आयन रे कार्बन रो केते फॉस्फेट आयन रे फास्फोरस केते सेठी तो वैलेंसी कहि परिबोनी वैलेंसी वर्ड इज मीनिंगलेस हां कहि परिबो कोवैलेंसी कहि परिबो बट स्टिल दैट इज नॉट ए पॉपुलर वर्ड the most popular term nowadays is oxidation state clear bye bye बहुत हे गला जी thank you so much Sijam Samidha
Pranam, sir.
and all giving so